Okay, good day everyone, and welcome back to Fresh Drop. Hope you're enjoying your day. So now, welcome back, and we're going to be doing more examples on quadratic equation, like I wrote in the previous video. So now we'll quickly start to so that this video is okay. So that the video will not be too long, so we can't talk much. We just quickly start. I've explained this and you know what I'm about to do. So now I'll be giving each example on the same case, but more different examples on what you might encounter on the different case. Now, if you know you are not subscribed, please do to subscribe, like our page on Facebook for more good videos that will help you know much better. So now, for your case one, you can have another question like this. And for those of you who know you have not watched the previous quadratic equation video, please watch that because you can't understand what you are doing there without watching that. So now you have a question like this. You have a question like 2y squared plus 3y equal to 0. Now you have a question like 2y squared plus 3y is equal to 0. 2y squared plus 3y is equal to 0. So now what do? You simply factorize, like I said. For the first case, this is the first case. You see there's y here, there's y here. There is something that can factorize. You understand? For the numbers here, nothing can divide the numbers here. 2 and 3, they have nothing in common that can divide them. But for y, you can factorize y out. You see y squared here and y here. What can divide y squared and can divide y is y. So y can divide 2y squared and y can divide 3y. So now when you factorize y out, what will you have? You have something like this. Y divided 2y squared is 2y plus y divided 3y is 3 equal to 0. You can see this. So now this is what you have. Y bracket 2y plus 3 bracket is equal to 0. So now I told you, you will equate each and every expression to 0. Now you see your first expression there, you equate it to 0. Your second one here, 2y plus 3, you equate it to 0. So now your y here is equal to 0. This is your first answer. Y equal to 0, there is nothing more to solve. So this is your first answer. So for the second one now, you have something like this. 2y plus 3 is equal to 0. 2y plus 3 is equal to 0. Now, what do? I taught you a simple equation. The first thing you do, you collect like terms. You take this to the other side. Collect like terms and take 3 to the other side. Now, when you take 3 there, it will be 2y equal to 0 minus 3 or minus 3. So 2y is equal to minus 3. But we are not still done yet. They asked us to find y. Y is the aim of this question. We are looking for y. But now we are having 2y equal to minus 3. They did not say find 2 times y. They said find only y. So what will you do to remove this 2 here? What will you do to remove this 2? I taught you when I was saying teaching collection of like terms. When you want to take this 2 here to meet this 2, right here you see they are timesing. 2 is timesing y. 2 times y is 2y. So you use the opposite to remove it, which is divided by 2. So you divide both sides by 2. I taught this in collection of like terms. If you don't understand this part, please I will prefer you watch collection of like terms. It will be more easy that way. So now you see this divided by 2 divided by 2. Now 2 here, we cancel 2 here. Now this minus 3 over 2. So what will you have finally for this part? You have y remaining here equal to minus 3 divided by 2. So you have y equal to minus 3 divided by 2. Now this is your answer for y. So now these are your two answers. Your first y is equal to 0 or equal to minus 3 over 2. So those are your two answers for this question. Those are your two answers for this question. And now I'll quickly show you another question on the second case here. Now for the second case here, You have a question like this. Now, for example, you have a question like this. 4k squared is a minus 9 equal to 0. 4k squared minus 9 equal to 0. I told you for the second case, for questions like this, in which nothing is similar, nothing you can factorize out, what do? You use difference of two squares. You use the difference of two squares to solve questions like this, where nothing is actually similar to factorize out. Now, what will you do here? Difference of two squares. I told you before you can use difference of two squares, everything must be squared. Every single number or letter must be squared. But now look at this is 4, there's no square. This is k, there's a square here. This is 9 and there's no square. So what do? You turn these ones to a number that has square. Now, which number can you square that will give you 4? It's actually 2 square. 2 square is the same thing as 4. So we have not changed anything. 2 square is 4. So it's the same thing. Just that for us to solve, we have to convert it to a number that has square. Now you have k square, so there's no conversion there, minus 9. Which number will you change 9 into that we have a square? Which number will you square that will give you 9? It's 3. 3 squared. So you have 3 squared, which is equal to 9. Then 0. Now that we have successfully converted these numbers to numbers that have square that can fit in here, what do? You simply use your difference of two squares. Now, your difference of two squares, you have something like this. 2k minus 3, 2k plus 3. I told you this is how you write it. One of the brackets you carry minus, one of the brackets you carry plus. One of the brackets you take minus, one of the brackets you take plus. That is what you have here. Don't write square on it. No longer write square on it. This is how to factorize with the difference of two squares. You understand? And now what do? We'll equate these two answers to 0. So we have our first equation here, this bracket here. It will be 2k minus 3 equal to 0. The second one will be 2k plus 3 equal to 0. You understand? Now let's solve for our first answer. For the first answer, we'll take the first one. 2k minus 3 is equal to 0. So what do? We'll simply move 3 to this side. So it will be 2k equal to, when you move it here, it will become plus 3 or positive 3. Now, they said we should find k. We are not looking for 2k. So now what do? We'll collect like terms, divide both sides by 2. 2 here, we'll cancel 2 here. This is 3 over 2. So k is equal to 3 over 2. Now, for the second one, let's get our second answer. They said 2k is equal to 2k plus 3 is equal to 0. Now what do? When we move 3 to this other side by collecting items, we have 2k equal to minus 3. Because it's plus 3 here, it turns to minus 3. Now we divide both sides by 2 to collect item. Because we want to remove this 2 here. We need only k to solve. We want to remove this 2 here. We make k the solution formula by collecting item. 2 here, this is minus 3 over 2. So k is what? Equal to minus 3 over 2. So what are your two answers now? You have your first answer, k is equal to 3 over 2. And the second one, k is equal to minus 3 over 2. So those are your two answers for this question. K is equal to 3 over 2 and k is equal to minus 3 over 2. So now I'm going to be giving you another example, but I hope you understand this one that I just did here. This is another one from the second case in which we use difference of two squares. Note, remember you must turn this thing to a number that has square. You can't solve with these numbers. These numbers must carry square before you can use them to solve. And the sign here must be negative. Don't use this process when the sign is positive. It must be negative in the question before you can use it. That is why it is difference of two squares. Difference means negative sign. Now, we'll simply take another example. let's quickly take another example. For the last case, we'll simply take another example. For example, you have a number like this. So let's solve for the one that carries negative. Okay, negative sign. For the first example we did in quadratic equation 1, we use numbers that carry positive sign. So now let's solve something like this. Or let me change the question. Let me make here 2, and this is minus 7x plus 6 equal to 0. Now you have a question like this. For here, this one is negative. The former one we did was positive. So I think this is a different example which will help you understand better. Now, from what I told you the first time, I said you have to change this minus 7. You must change this minus 7 to two numbers. And how do you do that? First of all, you do this, you take this step. 6 times 2 will be 12. 12x squared. Now what is this one here? Minus 7. You bring it. Minus 7x. Note, don't forget the minus. Don't forget the minus. Your minus must be here. Now, what are the two things that you will times that will give you 12x squared, but when you add them, it will give you minus 7x? Now, note, this place I told you is very crucial. So you must understand this part very well. Now, look, when you times two numbers, example 4 times 3. Okay, when you do 4x times 3x, you will get 12x squared. So let's add them up if they will give us minus 7x. 4x plus 3x. No, they did not give us minus 7. It gave us plus 7x. 4x plus 3x is 7x. And we are looking for minus 7x. So this is wrong. So this is wrong. So for us to get it, we must think of the perfect way to arrange these numbers that it must give us what we have here. And how we're going to do that? The perfect number to use is minus 4x times minus 3x. Note, minus times minus is what? Plus. So minus 4x times minus 3x will give you 12x squared. Because why? Minus times minus is plus. So you will get your positive 12x. This is plus 12. Let me just put it so you can see it. But I know you know it's plus 12. So this is plus 12. So your minus times minus will still give you your plus. So you are not changing anything. So let's try these two numbers if it will give us minus 7x. Now you have minus 7x plus you have minus 4x plus minus 3x. Minus 4x plus minus 3x. Now you look at these two numbers. Minus 4x plus minus 3x. Like this. Now let's try if it will give us minus 7x. Minus 4x plus minus 3x will give us minus 7x. So you see it? Minus 4x plus minus 3x will give us your minus 7x. So this is the perfect number that we are going to use. Minus 4x and minus 3x. So that's what you do. And I will quickly clean this thing because of the space. And we are going to continue like this. Remember, minus 4x and minus 3x. Now let's go. You must use the correct number. Don't use plus. If you use plus 4x and plus 3x, you will fail that question. So the sign is also important. Now let's go. You have 2x squared. Then this. Remember we are changing this. So minus 4x minus 3x plus 6 equal to 0. Minus 2x squared minus 4x minus 3x plus 6 equal to 0. Now what do I tell you to do next? You take your bracket. You take your bracket here and you take your bracket here. Your second bracket like this. Now, I told you factorize the two brackets. When you factorize this one, x, you see, x can divide here. There are 2x. And 2 2 and 4, what is common? 2. You can factorize 2 out. 2 and 4. You can factorize 2 out because 2 can divide 2 and 2 can divide 4. So what are we going to factorize? For the numbers, what can be factorized? 2. For the letters, can it be factorized? Yes. X can divide these two x. So now x will come out. Now what are we going to do? We'll now check here. 2x, 2 divided 2 is 1. X divided x squared is remaining x. Minus, your minus must be there. 2 divided 4 is 2. Your x divided x is 1. So there's nothing there left. This is x minus 2. Now for the second bracket, we'll factorize out. This is minus 3x plus 6. We'll factorize. What can we see here? This is minus 3x plus 6. What are we going to factorize out? We are going to factorize out minus 3. Minus 3 can divide 6. Minus 3 can divide minus 3. But x, nothing can divide x here. So factorize out minus 3. This is minus 3 here. Factorize bracket. Minus 3 divide minus 3 and x. Minus 3 divide minus 3 is 1. So x there, nothing is dividing x. You have your x. Plus minus 3 divide plus 6. Minus 3 divide plus 6 would give you minus 2. There is no x there, so you simply cover your bracket and put your 0. Minus 3 divided x. Note, I mistakenly wrote plus before, which is not correct. You cannot get an addition sign there. Why? Because this is minus 3. Minus 3 is dividing plus 6, which will give you minus 2. So now, what do you have? I told you at this point you will know if your solving is correct. You look at this first bracket, x minus 2. Look at this second bracket, x minus 2, which shows that it is correct. The two brackets are the same. So what are you going to do? You pick one of the bracket. You pick one of the bracket, which can be x minus 2 bracket. That's one. Then these two that you factorize out, you put it in one bracket, which is 2x minus 3 bracket equal to 0. You see it? Equal to 0. So that's our new equation. That's our new equation. And at this point, what are we going to do? We are going to equate each of them to 0. We are going to equate each of them to 0 and we are going to solve. The first one, you have x minus 2 equal to 0. X minus 2 equal to 0. I told you to solve, you simply move the 2 to the other side. It will be remaining x equal to 2. When minus 2 goes to this side, it becomes 2. That is your first x answer. For the second x answer, we equate this to 0. To have 2x minus 3 equal to 0. What do? You move minus 3. It will be remaining 2x here by collecting items and 3 there. Note, this is not our answer. 3 is not our answer. Why? Because they said find x, but this is 2x. They said find x, but this is 2x. Now what do you simply do? You divide both sides by 2. 2 divide 2. This is 3 over 2. So what do you have here? X is equal to 3 over 2. So this is your x second answer. X equal to 3 over 2, not 2x. So x is equal to this, x is equal to this. These are your 2x answer. So what will now be your final answer here? You have x equal to 2 or 3 over 2. As simple as that. So this is how you solve. So these are just more examples on quadratic equation to make you understand the topic better. You understand? For factorization method, this method is called factorization method. There are other methods to solve quadratic equation, completing the square, graphical method, and all those things. But this is the factorization method and one of the easiest in solving quadratic equation. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, like our page on Facebook, and take care.